Welcome back to the Smugsy Show. I'm Smugsy, your host, identifying as the Barstool Cougar. Each Wednesday, you can meet me here on the Smugsy Show, and together we'll explore a hot topic at the intersection of sports, business, and politics. My pronouns are first and third person. This week, I'm going to present to you two headlines that you won't hear in the lamestream media. You heard it here first on the Smugsy Show. The first is that Joe Biden claims without evidence he will unify the country. You can just think about that. The second headline, and the subject of today's show, is that Dave Portnoy was dog-walked by Donald Trump. So let's unpack that. As we know, Dave Portnoy, the president of Barstool Sports, El Presidente, he was the first media executive to call the race between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. On election night last Tuesday, November 3rd, around 10:30, Dave Portnoy made a video wearing a Jimmy Buffett t-shirt. He made a video that was released to his, let's see, how many followers does he have? 1.8 million followers on Twitter saw the video of Portnoy claiming Donald Trump won. He said it's a done deal. I've been saying it for months. When it's over, you have to accept Trump is president. He won fair and square. If you riot, you deserve to be in jail. So Portnoy called the race. He called the race for presidency. He also called the Georgia race. He said that Trump won Georgia. And this video of Dave Portnoy's that was made and released on Twitter at 10:30 on election night, it was retweeted 11,500 times. Which is great, except, of course, that, Donald Trump didn't win. He didn't win the election against Joe Biden, and he didn't win the state of Georgia. Joe Biden got 290 electoral college votes and was declared the winner by the Associated Press. And as far as the state of Georgia goes, Biden is ahead by about 15,000 votes, although today the Secretary of State for the state of Georgia ordered a recount. But even if Trump somehow comes out on top in Georgia, Biden still wins. He still has enough electoral college votes, 270, to win the race. So what happened? Davey day trader duped, or Davey day trader cutting a deal? Instagram, it should be noted, slapped Dave Portnoy's wrist on election night and blocked his his Instagram election-related posts. But Twitter, they just let the retweets happen. It was like compound interest. And it was exactly what Donald Trump wanted to happen, right? I mean, the Trump strategy was to get a lot of fake news about the election out into the universe so that Trump could retweet it. And Trump, as we know, has like 89 million followers. So Dave Portnoy's tweet about Trump winning, which of course is not true, nevertheless can get retweeted, was retweeted by the president, and it feeds this narrative of a fake election and election fraud, which keeps Trump's foot on the neck of his base and keeps their finger on the donate button. So it's just about cash. It's about raising money, and the drama and the urgency about election fraud. It's a big sales job, right? And of course, both presidents, Trump and Portnoy, they're sales guys. They they know. They know how to gin things up, and they know how to retweet. And Trump needs the cash because of his debts. He loves debt, and he's in a lot of debt. And there's a reason for that. It's simple. The debt of Donald Trump is what keeps him in the show, keeps him in the game, right? Some presidents might just go off quietly after losing the election, build a library, quietly leave the White House, but not Trump. He has a lot of debt, and so it keeps him running. It's like a reality show. It's a reality show. It enables Trump to act like there was election fraud, to raise money. And Dave Portnoy should have known that election night was too soon to tell, because we, on this Muggsy show, spelled that out. I mean, it's without a doubt not going to have a result on election night because of all the mail-in voting. And, of course, mail-in voting favors Joe Biden. Therefore, 10:30 on election night, before the mail-in votes were counted, was way too early to call the race. And Dave Portnoy knew, or should have known, that. So maybe Dave Portnoy didn't get dog-walked by Donald Trump and mistakenly tweeted out a false claim about Trump winning the election. Maybe Portnoy was throwing him a bone. I mean, we know Dave Portnoy interviewed Donald Trump in the summer of 2020, and at that time, Dave Portnoy said he was apolitical, but he also had some pretty hard-hitting questions for the president. One of them that really jumped out at me was when Dave Portnoy said to Donald Trump, "Do you love doing Twitter?" And Trump said, "There are times when I love it, too much sometimes. It's not the tweet, it's the retweets that get you in trouble." So there's common ground, as the president said in that interview with Dave Portnoy. Both men are in the retweet business. Portnoy also asked the president in July during that interview if he was going to be taking his 89 million Twitter followers with him when he exited the White House. And Trump certainly hopes so. And maybe Portnoy is hoping that those 89 million Twitter followers might follow him over to Barstool Sports. Maybe Dave Portnoy knowingly did the premature Trump victory video to throw him a bone. Trump could retweet it and then cut a deal with Barstool. God knows, Brandon Walker could use someone to complain about. So the day after the election, Dave Portnoy did another video and released it on Twitter. It was a mea culpa of sorts. He was in a suit, and he hates suits, so there's a message there. But in the mea culpa, Portnoy said, "I fucked up. I jumped the gun. I never said I was a Trump guy. Both sides suck. You got to respect the office of the president." But it's too late. So the question is, now, how many times has Donald Trump called Dave Portnoy this week, do you think? El Presidente, Dave, if you're listening, my advice is this. If ever there was a time to break your phone, it's now. Or shoot him a DM. Say, "Hey, buddy, hey, little buddy, you lost the election, but come on over to Barstool, and bring your 89 million followers, and we'll set you up with a microphone, a podcast, a radio show, television, whatever you want." So we'll see. Watch this space. We'll be following this story. Cougar of the week this week. Cougar of the ages. Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of England. She is meeting the moment as a leader during the pandemic. Unlike other leaders like Donald Trump and Prime Minister Boris Johnson and the presidents of Argentina, Honduras, and Guatemala, they all got COVID. The Brazilian president, Jair Bolsonaro, got COVID. The Armenian prime minister, unlike these guys, these other leaders around the world who talking about COVID and spreading it and getting it, Queen Elizabeth II has met the moment of the pandemic without getting COVID. She, like the Smugsy show, she has a higher purpose, and that is to raise the spirits of the nation, and she's done it impeccably well, with grace, style, humility, and a great sense of humor. Despite her own problems. For instance, her budget, it's taken a hit, $45 million hit because of COVID. Yeah, they're really having to tighten their belts at Buckingham Palace and the Windsor Castle and in their various castles around. $45 million down because of lost tourism from COVID. And Queen Elizabeth is still paying off the partying debt of the Queen Mother. Queen Elizabeth's mother died a while ago, but left $8 million in debt from these ragers she had, unbeknownst to most people. The Queen Mother had weekend parties, lavish affairs that exceeded her $1 million allowance. And so when she died, Queen Elizabeth is quietly paying off that debt. The Queen Mother at these parties, apparently Veuve Clicquot, the champagne company, the Queen Mother was Veuve Clicquot's #1 customer. The Queen Elizabeth, she's the Queen of Cougars, and she's not a one-trick pony. She's, during the pandemic, given national addresses from the Windsor Castle, similar to what she did during World War II as a girl at age 14. She gave a televised radio address that is credited with bringing the United States finally into the fold to fight Germany. She's the longest reigning British monarch, and she's worn every shade of the rainbow in what is her signature outfit. Stylish long coat, rich materials, monochromatic. She same color, hat, coat, bag, but then there's usually just a little bit of exposure of a sheath dress underneath or a skirt of some sort with a very fun print. And the colors she wears are just so magnificent. For her 90th birthday, neon green. She's worn robin's egg blue from head to toe, tangerine, cherry red. She's quoted as saying, "I have to be seen to be believed," and we're better off seeing her. We saw her most recently dealing with the pandemic at Westminster Abbey, honoring the unknown soldier, British soldier who was returned after World War I from France, buried in Westminster Abbey. She gave addresses from the balcony of a beautiful government building to honor all those who've perished in war, which is especially poignant on today, Veterans Day. She used her birthday to give out special recognition and awards to people who are going above and beyond serving the country in the pandemic. They're called OBEs, or Order of the British Empire. For instance, a nurse who went overboard in caring for people got Officer of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire by the Queen recently. She's 94 years old. She doesn't stop doing her job and showing us by example. She leads by example and shows us how to live. And that's what Cougars do. So Queen Elizabeth II is this year's Cougar of the ages. And like her, we should all try to raise the spirits of the nation, come together, try to be selfless, have good style, sense of humor, That's my goal. And that's it for today's Smugsy Show. I hope you'll follow me on Twitter @SmugsyGirl. I hope you'll subscribe to this YouTube show, leave a comment. And until next time, this is Smugsy signing off.